All right, so let's get started a little bit about this is part of a franchise, the Ip Man franchise, based on the life of the real person, Ip Man. I want to ask you, what did you want to make different with this one? You're directing, it's a spin-off, it's based on this character that's sort of appearing in the life of Ip Man. What was your take on this particular film?
其實呢個同葉問係唔同嘅，淨係分支嚟嘅，因為呢個會係表達一個父親同仔嘅感情。
This actually is not really directly related to Ip Man. This is a story about the relationship between a father and a son.
其實佢本身係唔想，你就想好平淡過生活同個仔。
Yeah, Master Z left the martial arts world. He actually wanted to have a quiet life because he wanted to spend it with his son.
結果佢想平淡，但係好多事惹埋佢唔理唔得，變咗就搞出好多嗰啲江湖恩怨出嚟啦。
Yeah, basically he wanted to have a peaceful life, and yet trouble came to him, and things that he couldn't even avoid. And so he had to basically come out in order to survive.
So what's interesting is that film after film, you seem to adapt the style of action depending on the nature of the characters. And so in this film, you have this mixture of realism, but at the same time, you also have a lot of high-flying action. So you have this mix of realism and surrealism. So I want to ask you about the high-flying action. Where did you think that fit?
有好多你嘅電影咧係有好現實主義嘅嘢喺裏邊，但係咧亦都有啲好超現實嘅嘢，譬如打嗰啲咁樣係好超現實啦。現實嘅部分當然就係生活嘅嘢啦。咁就想知道其實點樣睇現實同埋超現實？
其實我覺得現實同超現實都係一個體嚟嘅，即係動作嚟講，你一定係要點樣好睇，點樣刺激喺現實環境之中嚟表達呢啲咁嘅即係動作人嘅嗰個思想啊，嗰個性格，嗰個衝動啊，我點樣去做不平嘅嘢啊，所以我哋可以用少超現實嘅手法嚟到表現嘅。
Yeah, basically there is movement, and you see that there is movement that is real, there's movement that is actually surreal. And the thing is, in this specific case, we are talking about how people actually portray their character, their emotions. And the thing is, sometimes, yes, I think in action and in fighting and all that, you can sometimes go beyond real into the surreal, because that is a way of portraying emotions. That's a way of expressing a character.
I want to ask you about a specific scene that I find quite breathtaking, the whiskey scene. You know, you have the characters are playing with this environment. It's quite amazing. I was wondering how you had that idea.
想知道你點樣能夠有呢個構思出嚟？
其實呢個構思我諗咗幾日㗎啦。
It took me a few days to think of that scene.
因為你楊紫瓊出嚟第一次見到啊張天志。我哋坐喺度傾偈啊，拖下包拖下嗰時唔好睇咯。
Basically, that marks the first meeting of Michelle Yeoh as well as Master Z. So they just met. The thing is, if they were just sitting there talking, there's not much to watch. It's not as interesting to watch in this film.
即喺動作片嚟講，咁唔好睇。同埋你見到面打出手更加唔啱添。
But the thing is, if they just met for the first time, there's no way that they would already be engaged in a huge fight.
所以我而家諗喺文戲之中加少少佢哋即係好生活感咁，你大家比試下功夫嘅高低。
So this actually melds the idea of civilized people meeting, and there's something that is kind of related to life because it has to do with offering a drink. And yet it was a way immediately that two people, both with very good martial arts skill, have a way of figuring out each other, as in the actual level of their skill.
So your work with all these martial artists is quite collaborative, obviously. So in this scene, in particular, to go back again to that scene, you have two of your discoveries, like one being Michelle Yeoh, and Zhang Jin is, I believe, also a discovery of yours. So I would like you to maybe describe how you work with both of them. They represent two different generations of
佢哋
actors,
兩
obviously.
位即係梁子瓊同埋張晉兩個都好代表到係你發掘嘅武打演員。咁但係其實你亦都同好多第啲武打演員合作過。咁就想問問，因為始終楊紫瓊同埋張晉其實兩個都屬於係兩個不同代不同年代嘅俾你發掘。
差成代。
差成代。Yes, the generation between Michelle Yeoh and Max Zhang is at least one generation。係差成代。
OK。
咁但係你點同佢哋合作咧？因為嗰種合作嘅方法係點樣咧？係咪有分別咧？
冇分別嘅，合作方法就係我控制啫嘛。
Collaboration is very simple. My collaboration with these martial arts actors, I control them.
即係
OK， 咁除咗呢個之外咧？
上一代同下一代即係冇所謂，即係我係中間，我嚟到套招咧。上一代咩性格咩打，下一代點樣性格點打啫。上一代未必輸俾下一代，下一代未必贏上一代，即係我自己。
Actually, my design was very important because the idea is that, yes, somebody who's older, somebody who's younger, older generation, younger generation, how do they relate to each other? How do they fight? How do they actually somehow coordinate? And the thing is, it doesn't mean that the older generation would lose to the younger generation.
其實我全部都係因個戲嘅人物性格同埋佢個。
Basically, all of the choreography, all of this movement had to do with the character in the story, also the nature of that person and the circumstances of what that character is going through. Good.
That's a great answer. At the risk of maybe being a little bit technical, well, so in the Ip Man franchise, including in this spin-off, which is not about Ip Man, the Wing Chun style is really prominently featured. So I'm wondering if you have an affinity specifically with the southern style, the Wing Chun style. You've also directed Michelle Yeoh practicing the Wing Chun style. It involves a certain style of choreography. So I want to ask you about your affinities or preferences, maybe for one style or another, or do you just embrace all types of martial arts choreographies?
其實拍戲嚟講，即係咩拳都應該有興趣嘅。
In making film, you basically take in all the different styles. You actually are looking into and trying to film all the different styles.
因為我即係成個睇嘅成個劇本，成個人物性格嗰啲功夫嘅層次高低你要識嘅。好似呢部係咁，張天志，佢本身係詠春高手嚟嘅，但係我喺上集第3集。佢輸咗俾葉問，所以佢想放棄唔用詠春。我輸咗我就唔用，我用翻佢以前打黑拳嗰啲拳嚟到用到我嚟同人哋打嘅。到後邊佢先用翻詠春覺悟到先用翻詠春。
It really has to do with the story. So here, in this specific one, if you know the Ip Man 3, that was when Master Z actually lost to Ip Man. But prior to that, although Master Z knew how to play Wing Chun and all that, but prior to that, he was actually also somebody who was just an underground fighter, doing boxing and all that. And so as an underground fighter, he had different technique and different skills. And in this film, you knew that from the beginning, when he gave up on Wing Chun because he had lost to Ip Man, he did not fight in the Wing Chun style at all until the end of this film when he resorted to that.
I'm going to ask you another question before turning to the audience. I'm sure you have questions for Mr. Yuen. I would like to, so in this film, one of the main antagonists is Dave, played by Dave Bautista. So I want to ask you about the challenges, maybe the good sides and bad sides of working with non-Chinese speakers and non-martial artists. I mean, Dave Bautista is a martial artist, but it's a different, it's not Chinese martial arts.
第一就係唔係中國人，咁啊點同佢溝通，點同佢拍戲咧？仲有第二咧，就係因為始終 Dave Bautista 唔係一個真係武術嘅人，咁種溝通啊，同埋做導演啊，點樣啲處理嘅方法？
即係溝即係我而家同佢咁，佢識講英文，我唔識講英文，佢唔識中文，我哋點溝通咧？
It's a case of, you know, you don't speak Chinese, he speaks Chinese, you speak good English, but he doesn't, so how do you
已經
communicate?
有第三者翻譯溝通
You need a third person to translate.
OK，
Okay.
Very practical. That's great.
So 即係你同阿 Dave Bautista
其實佢功夫佢又唔識打中國功夫啊，但係佢本身我知道佢摔角手嚟嘅，佢摔角好叻嘅。
Dave Bautista is a very good wrestler, and I knew that he could be, you know, he could wrestle.
所以我就用佢嘅長處嚟到設計動作，佢即係摔角好叻，但係佢個身材咁高大，我就俾佢用力量型嘅，冇花招冇成，一拳一拳一捉起人就掉就打，即係我就用佢呢種方法嚟表達佢動作，即係個力量同埋佢本身。 直接簡單嘅動作。
Dave Bautista is a wrestler. He's very strong, as you can tell. Also, he's very big. So when it's a matter of filming him, I literally observe what he does and pick and choose the best that I can portray him. And so it tends to be, you know, very direct punches, direct, very powerful moves, or he would haul somebody down directly. I mean, this is how I actually directed Dave Bautista.
One last question before the audience. I want to ask you.
Okay.
I want to ask you about Donnie Yen versus Zhang Jin. That's in the film before the final fight. You have these mirror images between. They both practice the Wing Chun style, so it's a fascinating fight to me. So I want to ask you about the difference between Donnie Yen and Zhang Jin. How can you describe how they differ in terms of their work and acting and working with them? 但係就想知啦，其實同呢兩位唔同嘅演員嘅合作，或者係點樣同佢哋指導，同埋或者係同佢哋拍戲，其實有啲乜分別？
其實冇分別，因為我係老大。
Well, again, about how to work with different actors. Really, there's not too much difference because I am number one. I am the big boss.
甄子丹，我一手帶佢出嚟嘅。 張晉又係我提拔佢出嚟嘅，變咗兩個都係細佬，我係老大，所以佢一定要聽我講嘅。
Donnie Yen was literally discovered and nurtured by me. Actually, he came into the field because of me. And also Zhang Jin, same thing. So basically, I'm the big brother. I say whatever, they follow. They are little brothers.
Great. It's great to be the boss. So let me turn to the audience, and guys, if you could raise your hand, and a microphone will go to you. Yes, the lady in the front here. There's a lady right here. She's raising her hand. Yeah. Here. Yes. Guess it's out. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's working. I think I can repeat the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for thanking me.
What is your question?
The question. I'll repeat the question. No, it's not. I'll repeat the question for the audience. Okay. Okay. So the first question is about Master Yuen's daily routine to keep healthy. After all, he is a Kung Fu master. And the other question is about the movement. And the other question is about sorry, can you rephrase the question a little bit? What he's done, his routine for his career to keep competitive. He's been in the martial arts instructors for years.
都係多謝佢讚我咁後
Thank
生
you for
咁醒
saying I'm fit. Thank you.
咁有活力。
And that I have so much energy.
即係50年嚟，我做冚唪唥都係做動作片嘅，即係我覺得係一個人嘅心啊，擺唔擺每部戲度啫。每部戲你接咗劇本，你自己一定要想，一定要設計。即係我覺得一個人有責任心啊，就一定要每部戲你都要設計得唔同嘅嘢，即係同埋自己會有興趣做呢樣嘢先至得嘅嘛。
How do I survive, or actually how do I thrive 50 years in the film industry? It has to do with the heart and also a sense of responsibility. When you receive a script, you really have to put your heart into it to actually examine it, think of what to do, think of how to interpret, design all the movement, and get all these details, because really it has to do with how you feel and then how you should be a responsible person in doing what you do.
Thank you. Another question for Master Yuen. In the back, I see the gentleman in blue. It's coming.
Oh, it's not working. Hi, thank you. I have two quick questions. One, when you were filming
One question, come on.
Okay.
Don't be
so
greedy.
I'll pick the other one then. Your father is, I think, really well known in America, but people don't realize that he's your father. There is an actor, there's a rap group, Wu-Tang Clan. There was a character in the group who is called Old Dirty Bastard, and he picked that name after the character that your father played. And I'm just curious how aware you are of kind of the popularity of the Beggar So character in America, and how your father is like this figure that everyone knows.
Thank you. A very specific question.
因為你父親其實真係喺亞洲嚇，就人人都識嘅，但喺美國咧就唔係人人都識噶嘛嚇，咁就想知道你點樣睇呢個情況。
即係我父親就喺香港嚟講係佢
In Hong Kong,
第一個武術指導。
my father was the first martial arts instructor, or actually martial arts choreographer.
即係我再講翻成，我就去到我爸係第一個武術指導，我成全我爸爸，我繼續做，即係自己有心去發展做武術指導，一路學一路做到咩？即係我呢家打到美國先名啦，即係。
Yes, basically, my father really was the number one and the most famous of the action choreographers in Hong Kong. And the thing is, I had my heart set to continue his legacy. And I think I have done it. And also by doing so, I have also now extended into America, to the West. And so in many ways, I feel that I am actually continuing my father's legacy, continuing his name also.
Thank you. And your father was in Drunken Master. He is Jackie Chan's master in Drunken Master.
記得睇一睇就你父親係醉拳裏邊，因為係老師嚟㗎嘛。係佢即係佢個師傅咯，醉拳。The master of Jackie Chan.
In Drunken Master, which was Master Yuen's first film as a director. Many questions. Let's see. On this side, Christina. Go ahead. No, the lady behind you. Sorry. Sorry, I'll move to you afterwards. I promise.
I was wondering, you've done so much in the industry. Is there something you haven't tried yet, or that you'd like to do, that you haven't been able to do yet?
Great, thanks, Christina.
冇啊！我直情係
Nothing, sorry, nothing.
我直情係導演電影，我就係專心做電影，第二樣我就唔會分心嘅。
Film is my career, film is my industry. I just don't even consider that I want to take anything away from my concentration. 但係電影咧，電影你跑咁多樣嘢，即係你咪想第二啲嘢喺電影裏邊你想做啊？
有做武術之外，又做導演啦，呢個想做埋監製添，想做埋老細添。
Okay, I've done action choreography. I have done also directing now. Producer. Or maybe big boss.
Would you appear in a film again as an actor? Would you appear in a film as an
你
actor?
肯唔肯再做演員啊？佢問你，如果再請翻你做演員，你制唔制？
睇下友情啦，同埋睇下有冇緣分啦。
Okay, two. One is he says about friendship. So maybe somebody has the right type of relationship that might be able to invite Mr. Yuen to appear on the screen as an actual actor. And then the second one is Yuanfen. In Chinese, we would call it as, whether destiny or the flow of fate would make us meet.
Very cool. The lady that I skipped before, sorry about that.
I noticed that you so expertly incorporate the environments that the characters are in your fight choreography, and I was curious at what point when you are creating that choreography that you begin to consider that environment.
你有時好叻嘅，你嗰啲打鬥片，
Thank you.
全部啲環境裏邊每嚿嘢，每一個小部分咧，其實咧都係可以納入去佢哋打鬥嗰啲場面裏邊嘅。咁就想知道喺設計嗰方面，喺你設計打鬥嗰陣時，你係幾時連周圍嘅環境？無論你話係佈景或者係道具等等，係將呢啲嘢擺咗你構思裏邊。
喂，即係喺一場戲，喺呢場戲係有打鬥嘅，我就一定睇景，我知道呢度我要破壞嘅，我有呢度設計啲可以破壞嘅嘢，嗰邊可以破壞嘅，我設計啲破壞嘢。好似呢個場景咁，呢度話嗰啲欄杆可以破壞嘅，咁我就要設計嗰啲嘢，我俾我破壞嘅，即係喺睇景嗰陣時要準備嘅，你知道點做點破壞㗎啦。
咁但係譬如個景裏邊佈景點有啲嘢你特別要擺咧，擺前就等佢整爛啊嘛。咁
我一定要特別再設計㗎啦。
OK，你特別設計啦。
唔係，要特別叫嗰啲做佈景嘅，做我俾我容易整爛我就設計㗎。
When I design a fight scene, I would look and I would immediately decide this part, that part, this has to be destroyed, that doesn't have to be destroyed. So that's the first thing. So I then ask, well, how about things that you actually put in there? And they say, oh no, I work with the people who are actually props and so on to figure out what is there that can and easily be destroyed. For example, he did point to actually that banister. He pointed that banister can be destroyed.
Yeah, they have insurance, I think. Okay. The gentleman in the front here with the glasses, all the way in the front. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done. In the film, there's like a comic book superhero, centrally located within the narrative and very carefully placed within the time, the history, and the place. Can you talk about your relationship and the film's relationship to comic books and superheroes, both as like a print genre, but also as a genre of action film, and also to acknowledge that your influence on comic book action film franchises has been very important and indelible.
Thank you. We wish we could speak Cantonese right now.
影響咗同埋真係好深遠影響咗現在嘅漫畫世界。
當然係我嘅動作影響佢㗎啦。
Yes, my action choreography and what I have done in film has indeed affected the comic world. the comics, the
嗰
comics
個
world.
嗰個蝙蝠俠公仔喺嗰個年代係好流行嘅。
Yeah, but you have to understand that the Batman little toy, really, of that era, these are the popular toys for
即係
boys.
我哋拍我哋已經考據過晒啲道具啲嘢㗎，即係知道嗰個係 OK 係好流行，好多僆仔好中意嘅，所以我哋就一定即係希望佢做一個引線，做一個主要嘅道具。
Yeah, so basically we did a lot of the historical research and we knew that that type of toy was indeed very popular at that time. And so that's why we wanted it to be actually a central prop and a reference that would come back.
Thank you. We're running out of time, but I'm going to let you ask one more question to make it count. The gentleman in the middle. Yes, you. Before you ask your question, I should mention that we'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 at the amphitheater. It's first come, first serve, and free, so line up early. It's at the amphitheater in the film center across the street. Tomorrow, 7:30. And then we'll be introducing the Miracle Fighters, a great, one of, I believe, one of Yuen Woo-ping's best films.
我小師嚟嘅。
I just had to remind him he is doing a master class tomorrow.
It's an intimate conversation, but he's the master. It's a master class.
Okay, let's see 問題。
Since you've been a choreographer and a film director, I was wondering if you learned anything different when you became a film director, when you approached action sequences, and what is your process in both of those capacities, and what are the differences of those?
Thank you.
動作指導同導演，好啦，動作指導得出嚟嘅經驗係咪使到你做導演，亦都有少少改變啊，或者係導演方面更加有把握呢？譬如你導演嗰陣時，你點導演嗰啲人做動作呢？
其實我做導演都係負責動作嗰部分嘅。
Actually, when I'm directing my films, I'm also doing the action choreography.
因為我做導演，我請邊個做動作就係指導啊，
聽你講啊。
都唔啱我心意，即係我自己嘅構想係咁樣，但係佢哋做唔到，所以都係要我自己嚟俾意思出嚟。
Yeah, so as a director, when I engage an action choreographer, and the thing is, if they don't quite get what I wanted, in the end, I actually do go in and actually do the action choreography myself.
因為可能我係自己做到最成功嘅天下第一冇事啦，所以佢做啲我唔係嗰啲嘢嚟嘅，所以我一定要落意見出去。
So basically, I do give the advice and the direction and the instruction to help them, because after all, as you know, I have done a lot of action choreography and have done it well.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Yuen. I want to ask you, before we close, when can we expect your next work, your next film?
問下一套戲啊，下一套戲啊。
下一套係保密喎。
Sorry, it's a secret.
Great. Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you, Mr. Yuen, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.